Have you ever said something like, "Surikada shibur surm, suriyenda ragu. Why aren't you listening again?" Or just stop it already. We've all been there. But today, I want to ask you something deeper. What if the problem isn't what you're saying, but how you're saying it? In today's video, we'll explore how both ancient wisdom and modern psychology can help us open a child's heart, not with criticism, but with compassionate, mindful conversation. So, if you're a parent, teacher, or simply someone who wants to connect better with others, subscribe now and begin your journey from conflict to connection. The wisdom of indirect guidance. There's an old Eastern saying, when a truth is difficult to say, borrow another story to reveal it indirectly. Chai Gundam. This timeless insight reminds us, when truth is hard to deliver, don't force it. Use stories, use metaphors, use gentleness. Why? Because direct confrontation often leads to resistance, not reflection. Why indirect feedback works. Let's take a look at the psychology behind it. Defense mechanism. When kids feel criticized, they protect themselves by shutting down, denying or pushing back. Cognitive dissonance. When someone hears they're wrong, even if they know it, their self-esteem feels threatened. This often leads to rebellion or complete denial. That's why indirect feedback is so powerful. It doesn't attack, it invites. How to give indirect feedback. This method is known as reflective teaching or indirect feedback, and it's backed by both educational theory and emotional intelligence. Here are 3 powerful techniques. Storytelling. Share a parallel situation. Ask, what would you have done? Metacognitive reflection. Gently guide your child to reflect on their own behavior and thinking. Modeling. Soforitin. Use third-person examples, historical figures, fictional characters, or even someone you heard about to paint the picture without pointing fingers. Real-life examples. Let's look at how this plays out in everyday parenting. Instead of saying, "You were wrong to fight with your friend," try, "I once had a misunderstanding with someone close. Later I realized I only saw it from my side." Have you ever felt that way? This invites empathy without causing shame. Instead of, "Why didn't you do your homework?" try, "There was a time I delayed a project and got really stressed. I wish I had started earlier. How's your week going?" You're teaching responsibility without pressure. Instead of, "Stop playing video games," try, "I knew a student who loved games, but during exams, he always said he wished he had balanced his time better." This encourages self-regulation through story, not control. Why this works? Let's be honest, direct criticism can build emotional distance. It focuses on blame. But indirect feedback, it builds trust and encourages growth. Because the goal isn't to win the argument, it's to plant a seed of reflection. A line every parent should remember: a child's heart is not a mirror, it's a seed. Don't just reflect, help them grow. Reflection takes time, and with time, your child may begin to see things clearly and bloom in their own way. Bonus ancient metaphors that still work. Let's end with a few real scenarios and how metaphor can shift the outcome. If your child is bullying someone, I watched a drama where a kid excluded a friend in the end. Everyone got hurt. What would you have done? If your spouse scolds the child harshly, "A friend told me their partner yelled once, and now the child barely speaks." Do you think we could try a softer approach? If perfectionism is creating tension, there's an old saying, "Clear water has no fish." Being too perfect can push people away. Stories don't accuse, they awaken. So if you believe that warmth, story, and wisdom are stronger than pressure, subscribe below for more reflections inspired by the timeless teachings of Eastern philosophy and the insights of modern psychology. See you in the next video.